right, welcome back. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, live and local from 6 to 9 Central Time here in Springfield, the capital of Illinois, where we've got a debate going on about whether or not we should ban certain types of semi-automatic weapons and magazines and limit all gun sales to those 21 and older unless that individual is enlisted in the military. And we've had already one debate in a House committee about this, House Bill 5855 from State Representative Bob Morgan. And again, the bill would ban around 100 different semi-automatic pistol, shotguns, rifles, and also not allow for the sale or possession of any magazines that are over 10 rounds. So the first hearing on Monday heard only from survivors of gun violence and proponents that were advancing this proposed bill to ban semi-automatic weapons. Tuesday, there was another hearing. Thursday, there was another hearing. And that hearing had victims and advocates and people providing all kinds of statistics. And then they had a miscellaneous panel that had some of the opposition to this. But one thing to make clear here is the opponents that spoke at the hearing were individuals. They weren't representing groups. Like, some of the proponents are coming from Moms Demand Action or, various survivor networks, these groups of activists and advocates have been testifying. But the opponents have just been individuals testifying and individuals filing opposition slips that seem to really outpace all of the proponent witness slips. If you're not familiar with witness slips, it's really just a record of appearance opposing or supporting a particular bill that's proposed at the State House. So on Thursday, they opened it up. They heard from some advocates who were saying that we indeed need to ban certain types of semi-automatic guns. But one individual here, Joseph Saunders, he's with Brave Youth Group. He said that, he supports banning assault weapons, he says, but he says that there needs to be more done by way of getting after the crux of the issue, and that's the ill intent in some people's hearts.
So I'm just saying that more than anything, we need resources in place to prevent these acts, these violent acts that we had on Carpenter and Exchange and Washington Park, giving you something to do other than be out in these streets. I have plenty of testimonials, as well as good testimonials, but as well as tragic testimonials. This is not something that I brought for what I was presenting for today. I teach life skill class, but these are all young people that I've lost personally. This is personal for me. I'm in these trenches. Like, I'm not outside looking in. I see everything that I talked to you about. I'm seeing it. And it's tragedy every single day. What happened in Highland Park? What happened in Highland Park happens here every day. No one seemed to care. I say, my saying is, no one really cares until it's when it is. What happened in Highland Park, that tragedy that happened in Highland Park happens here every day. We live in a city that I call Gemini City. The North Side is not like the South Side. To me, frankly, I don't think the North Side gives about what goes on the South Side. Because when I go up there and we protesting on the North Side, they're looking at us like what are they doing? Some are clueless to the tragedy and the trauma and the drama that we go through on a daily basis. So, last thing that he said, just resources are needed. I'm all for the ban of assault weapons. You know what I'm saying? I wish all guns is off the streets. That's not reality. And if this ban was to take effect, still we got hearts that need to be changed, minds that need to be changed, so the finger will pull the trigger. Because if all guns were non-existent and the heart and the mind is not changed, something's wrong mentally. They're going to what? They're going to go with bats. They're going to go with knives. Anything that they can pick up, screwdrivers, what they do in the penitentiary, So I'm talking about a heart and a mind change and resources brought to a community brought together with those resources so we can heal the minds and hearts of our people to bring a better community worldwide, not just Chicago, worldwide. But I think where I'm at now is a blueprint for change within the city and the world.
That's Joseph Saunders. He advocates for banning certain weapons, but he also said that it goes beyond that, and he's looking for more resources for interdicting violence. Somebody else who spoke in support of it is Marsha Lee. She's with the group Everytown Survivor, and she laid out some of the things that are frustrating for her, having lost a child to gun violence. Here is Marsha Lee talking a bit about her position.
When we started this, Maria and I think we joined the Everytown Survivor Network, maybe 2014 or 15. We used to talk about a few of the more highly publicized shootings. Now, when you try to have a conversation, you have to ask, which shooting? It's out of control. And I thank Rep. Morgan for bringing this HB 5855 to protect Illinois. I thank you for having the courage to bring this in the face of all those, or who I heard today, who may be against it. But we, for one, as parents and survivors and victims, know on a personal level how much this will save some lives. I also want to say my daughter is a Chicago public school teacher. I only had 2 children. To have lost one to gun violence, and to think as my living child goes to work every day, the possibility that she may be faced with trying to protect her students from someone who may enter the school with one of these high-powered weapons to shoot the students. Don't turn a deaf ear. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but to the others who don't support this, don't look away. Don't turn a deaf ear. We have to do something. We don't have to live like this, and we have to make changes. And I very much support the ban on assault weapons and the large capacity magazines.
So that was Marsha Lee with Everytown Survivor, one of the proponents that spoke, and they had about a good 2.5 hours for the proponents of banning certain weapons speak. But then they had what they called a miscellaneous panel, and that included those who had criticism of this bill. We'll hear from those individuals next. With Springfield's Morning News, I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just search Bishop on Air, and you can find all the work I do there as well. So stay tuned. We'll get to that coming up here with Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. But let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today got the possibility of some flurries. The high of 33, the low down to 23. Saturday, we're looking at partly sunny skies, the high of 29, the low down to 18. Sunday, sunny with a high of 31. Monday, back to work with mostly cloudy skies, the high of 36. And Tuesday, partly sunny with a high of 26. Right now, it's about 32 degrees at 719 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
This is Jim over at CBD Botanicals. We are the second year in a row now sponsoring the Little Red Wagon with Christina Yock Farmers Insurance.
Hi there, this is Christina Yock with Farmers Insurance in Verdon, and we are here today at CBD Botanicals, who are one of our sponsors for our second annual Little Red Wagon donation station. We are collecting presents for shelter pets in the local area.
Some of the more needed items for this Little Red Wagon are blankets, food, and toys. The food is really important too, because I love to eat. Dogs do too.
We're going to be collecting your donations all of this month of December and through the second week of January.
While you're stopping by to donate, don't forget we also have pet items as well, whether it be a tincture or a treat or otherwise. And of course, bring your pet too, because Tatum always likes meeting new friends.
You can also go to Wagner Chiropractic and Wellness Center in Springfield, Chatham area, Dr. Sammy. Pet doctor in Rochester, Dr. Emily. Feel free to stop on by Farmers Insurance in Verdon and see me and our local pub Coraline, or again, CBD Botanicals, Tatum.
It is Christmas time, which means over at Green Hyundai, you're not going to find Mike Quimby. You're going to find Santa Quimby and all of his workshop elves working to get you and your family into a new ride. And wouldn't that be just the best Christmas present ever? Mike Quimby, what's going on?
That's right, Greg. All the elves are ready out here at Green Hyundai. Yep, we've got plenty of product on the ground. We have 30 Palisades due in here this weekend. So we're going to have Palisades, a 7 or 8 passenger vehicle for the family. It's a really practical Christmas gift. I can't tell you how things have evolved for purchasing automobiles on Christmas. A lot of folks do it, and a lot of folks find out that it's absolutely taking care of some of the family issues, if you want to call them the automobile transportation issues, and cleaning them right up all during the perfect holiday. So, Green Hyundai is your destination for no payments till March. If you'd like to take 3 months off with no car payment, we've got that available to you through March. So let my elves deliver these cars to you on Christmas Eve. Get out and see us this weekend. We'll get the details taken care of. We've got bows. We'll bring it to your house with the keys wrapped in a box nice and tight, and listen to them scream on Christmas Day. Green Hyundai, your Christmas destination. 1200 South Dirksen Parkway, directly in front of good old J.C. Penney's. Greg?
Mike Quimby, Santa Quimby, have a great weekend.
We appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
Fritz Pfister of Remax has been giving you expert advice on the local housing market for over 26 years. Now he wants to give you a share of $1,000 just in time for the holidays with the Fritz and Christy Pfister $1,000 Christmas drawing. Tune into Let's Talk Real Estate Saturdays at 10 a.m. Fritz will register 4 callers per week until December 17th. That gives each qualifier a 1 in 16 chance to win one of 3 prizes: $200, $300, or $500. Remember to tune into Let's Talk Real Estate Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for your chance to win.
Hi, it's Shane Luttrell from Luttrell Jewelers. The 16th annual Big Holiday Sale is happening right now until Christmas. Holiday shopping with up to 30% off and no interest financing. Luttrell Jewelers, open 6 days a week until Christmas.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
Rex with a double X battery, generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
The WMAY Daily Poll is sponsored by Adams Pest Control for commercial, residential, real estate inspections, and termite control. Cast your vote with the WMAY mobile app or at WMAY.com/poll.
What's the best Christmas movie? Is it It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone, Miracle on 34th Street, or Die Hard? Several others there. Right now, It's a Wonderful Life is leading. Die Hard's coming in second place. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app. It's brought to you by Adams Pest Control.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
All right, we got tons more to get you of the opponents now. Speaking against the House Bill 5855 that would ban certain types of semi-automatic rifles, pistols, and shotguns. It would also limit capacity of magazines to 10 and under. And people pushing back against it. Individuals speaking in front of the committee last night included an individual who said that they've grown up in Chicago and have experienced gun violence. This is Andrew Guadarrama, and he laid out various court cases he says means that this proposal is going to be deemed unconstitutional. Here is Andrew speaking yesterday at the House committee.
U.S. Supreme Court stated that the Second Amendment, quote, the Second Amendment extends prima facie to all instruments that constitutes bearable arms, even those that were not in existence at the time of the founding. This is important because while many may believe that the founding fathers may have meant muskets, the First Amendment still also applies when it comes to freedom of speech. We let people speak freely through phones and internet, even though they did not exist at that time. Another landmark case is Bruin that occurred July of this year, if not June. Bruin applies the restrictions that must be based on longstanding historic or tradition of the United States. Longstanding historic or tradition was defined under Bruin as being at the time of founding of law, back in 1791. This does not mean laws that were passed in the past 100 years. Under Bruin, the burden of historical regulations and context rest on the government to appeal. Current court cases appealing Bruin standing in New York, California, New Jersey, have only been able to find laws existing to disarm free Blacks, Natives, and Catholics. I should clarify that while the district attorney tried appealing the restrictions of Concealed Carry Act in New York, the defense was that because Natives and Blacks were not able to carry, that this law should take place. Surely in today's world, that would not be accepted. Concerns with this, outside of being unconstitutional, is that most handguns are 10 plus. This severely restricts access to firearms, which has already been ruled as unconstitutional.
So again, that was Andrew Guadarrama speaking to the House committee yesterday, and there was another speaker who was at the Highland Park parade shooting. He talked about how he left his concealed carry gun in his car because at a parade you can't have a concealed carry with you. So he talked about that. Then he talked about walking upon what he said victims rightly described as a war zone. And if you get a chance, if you seek out that testimony, that was from Abraham Avalos. But you also had Nico Noisette, who testified in front of the committee, and he laid out some pretty compelling points that he wanted to make sure were clear in his opposition, talking about the misinformation about certain types of powered weapons and misinformation about the difference between fully auto machine guns and semi-automatic machine guns. But he really talked about how the Second Amendment's there for personal protection, and people of color are the ones that are going to be mostly impacted by any kind of assault weapons ban or high-capacity magazine ban, as the supporters and proponents of the bill say.
Those of the faith know, or at least have been taught, that we are to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. To know that the adversary, the devil, is like a roaring lion, seeking out whom he may devour. Lions seek out those they perceive as weak. This is coming from someone that, according to statistics of people proposing the bill, just for having male genitalia, just for my voice, just for my melanin. I am a bigger target than mostly anyone in this room. A man walks into a grocery store, opens fires on shoppers, killing 10, 6 women, 4 men, 3 injured. The shooter mentioned he targeted the place because it was a Black majority community, as well as having strict firearm regulations. There was a potential one in Indiana, but a man stopped the shooter. It was at 40 yards. Police officers know, even trained, experienced people who own firearms know that's not an easy shot to make. But he stopped the guy. To this day, people have made a drill named after the hero, hoping that if they encounter such a thing, they can stop the threat. This range that I go to is an example of what America is, what it should be. People, no matter their color, gender, religion, politics, sexual preference, can be together happily exercising their rights. This is but a handful of states where you could marry your partner and own a firearm to defend themselves. After this bill, no such thing can happen. What am I to tell folks who have a same-sex partner but are afraid of bigots who wish to end their lives? Tell them to go to Michigan? It's not like we already don't have a lot of Illinois natives leaving this state already. I'm giving you our rights, privacy. You tax our food, our bags, our pop drink, our means of defense. We have to pay a county tax because I believe my life has value. As the people you've brought here today said in their statistics, I am a target. I am more likely than you, and you of being a target. And I have to pay a tax because I believe my life has value. You have a highway named after a great journalist, one who wanted women's rights, advocate for truth, anti-lynching. She had this to say: a Winchester rifle should have a place of honor in every Black home, and it should be used for that protection, which the law refuses to give. Ida B. Wells. If you had to make it more modern, an AR-15, a shotgun, AK, doesn't matter. That is legally bought, that is legally owned, should have the place of honor in every Black, gay, bi, Arab, Jew, doesn't matter. It should be used in protection in which the law refuses to give. And all of you, we all know those rights are fresh on our minds.
So again, that was Nico Noisette from Chicago talking about his opposition to the proposed ban on semi-automatic guns and magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. We'll be covering this as it progresses.